Looks like it's starting to connect. Fantastic. So tanse everybody. Okay, bonjour. Hello. Welcome to another wonderful Tuesday. It was such a beautiful day today. I was kind of lucky that I got to kind of drive around and do some things today and work with little kids today. So cute. Most adorable little kids ever. So cute. And I'm just really thankful and humbled to be able to share. And I know it's been like a couple of weeks since I've been able to share fully and completely, so I'm really thankful to be here. So I just wanted to kind of just start by acknowledging where I am and the land upon which we stand. So I am Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, which is in Saskatchewan. But I make my home here in Mulkinstis, which is Treaty 7 territory. It is the home of the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani, the Sarsi Dene from Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bears Paw, and Westlake First Nations. We're also walking in the footsteps of Métis Region 3, which is why I always proudly wear my Métis sash to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. And you'll notice there is no more painting in the back behind me because Lisa came and picked up the painting that she won this week, so that was really lovely. And it's just absolutely stunning, and I'm glad she's like, oh, I have the perfect spot for it in my home. So I always say everything is meant to happen and in the way that it's meant to unfold. And sometimes we just have to remember that. And so just to welcome everybody into the circle, I wanted to share with you the pre-welcome song. Now, traditionally when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4, under the 4 directions of the medicine wheel, which today I'm going to touch on. But this song is a little different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3. Keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to honor each other for those differences. Because if everybody was exactly the same, the world would be super boring and nothing would ever get done. And I really honor this song. This song really, it inspires me every day, every time that I sing it. I feel like my ancestors are beside me. And I thank the Natahau family for really keeping this song alive and sharing it with so many generations. Ooh, pardon me. But it's such a gift to be able to share it in a good way. So, Miyasin teaches us that the circle, you come into the circle without judgment. You don't compare yourself to other people because our voices are completely different. Our paths are completely different. Our experiences and our likes and dislikes, everything is completely different. But that's important because it's that balance that brings community. It's that balance that brings wholeness to all of creation and to each other. And so this song really honors that wholeness. Miyasin, which is the Cree welcome song. It doesn't just mean welcome, and it does call in all of our ancestors, but it also means beautiful. Stand up to sing. Still making drumsticks, so still getting poked in the leg with my drumsticks. Oh, that is C. That's good. Miyasin, Miyasin, Asemina, Asemina, Epetakote, Wagomagan, Ota, Oma, eat the skin, oh, Miyasin, Miyasin, Asemina, Asemina, Epetakote, Wagomagan, Ota, Oma, eat the skin, oh, Miyasin, Miyasin, Asemina, Asemina, Wakote, Iwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Eat the skin. Hi, and welcome to the circle tonight, everybody. So, yeah, I'm just really thankful and humbled to be here, and I'm really thankful and humbled to be able to smudge together, even if it is in an online format. So I just wanted to talk very briefly about my medicines. I do go more in depth with them with workshops that I do, but this one, ew, my hair is everywhere today. I just colored my hair, so there's pink everywhere in my house right now. But I'm just really thankful to be able to share them. And just a quick rundown of my medicines. And again, they might not be the same as your medicines. I think it's really important to learn from many different elders and knowledge keepers, because you never know what's going to resonate with you. You never know what's going to make sense in your own life. So this is why our teachings are oral traditions and oral practices, because whatever's meant for us we'll remember. Whatever's not, won't take up space in your brain. We'll test, you'll be okay. And so when I talk about my medicines, I can only share what I know, and that's the Ojikuri style of laying our medicines. And so in the East, I have sweetgrass, and that is for our mind. Oh, that smells good. It's for, our journey, new beginnings. It's for our childhood. It's connected to fire, which is that fire that burns within us when we learn those new things, that burning desire to learn. And it's decisions. So when we look at it, it's braided. So every section has 7 blades of sweetgrass to represent the 7 teachings, to represent our 7 generations, both backwards and forwards. And so when we make decisions, we have to weigh those things before we just, because it's not about us. It's about making the world a better place for our future generations and acknowledging the past that's been laid for us. All right, and then the next medicine that we have, cedar. Ooh, cedar. Cedar is our body medicine. It's in the South. It's connected to our physical body, our physical being. It's the relationship that we have with our body, but also the relationship that we have with Mother Earth. And so it teaches us to honor that relationship with Mother in a good way. It's really beautiful for grounding, and it's really wonderful for our health. So it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It has an antihistamine in it. I've been having a little bit of cedar tea lately because I've been hanging out at somebody's house who had a dog, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need my cedar tea. So it's made a huge difference. Then we go to the West, and in the West, I have sage. All of this beautiful sage here. Mostly. So all of our lovely sage here. So sage, women's medicine. This is buffalo sage, so I have some up north, which is a little bit more seedy and a little less broadleaf than the stuff that's down here, down south. Still does the same job. So sage is connected to our heart medicine, our emotions, our community. It's connected to Grandmother Moon, so it's our women's medicine as well. So there we are. This is sage. And then the last medicine is tobacco. And so tobacco is connected to spirit. It's something that we don't take into our being because it's not meant for us. It's a spirit medicine. So we gift it to each other, we gift it to the earth, and it's used symbolically to honor that relationship that we're building with all of those things around us and the spirits within us. So tobacco is important for that. Smells good. And then if we're going to use it for medicine, we're going to use something else. We're going to use Kansasa, red willow bark. I actually recently went willow bark harvesting, and I harvested a whole bunch, and I've got to get out before the end of the month to harvest some more. Once it's spring, it's not the same. You lose a lot of that medicinal property in it. So I'm going to go harvest some soon. So let me know if anybody wants to come with. And yeah, so those are my 4 medicines laid out in each direction. We're going to smudge today only with sage. Sage being the women's medicine, of course. It's universal, so anybody can smudge with it at any time. Whether you be on your moon time or whether you be pregnant. There's other teachings around like not smudging at all when you're on your moon time. But like I said, you take what you need. You take the teachings that are meant for you, and those are the ones you implement in your own life. It's not about being restrictive. It's about being supported through those medicines and through those traditional practices. Oh, I already have a little bit of a ball here. Pull those leaves off so they hold my energy and intention. Always smells so good when you roll it. All 4 directions in the smudge bowl. The bowl itself is water. Medicine, as soon as it goes in, is earth. When you let it on fire. And then the smoke represents air. Very frail and stuff. Matchstick, I'm not light. Nope, sure won't. I have no idea where that went. Another match. Keeping in mind there's no right or wrong way to smudge. Cleanse ourselves, to ground, to center, to ask for the things that you need in your life, and to get rid of the things that you don't need in your life. So, it's our way to pray, our way to ground, our way to just come back to our being, ourselves. I find whenever I'm stressed out, I smudge, and it's just like everything's put into perspective. Everything just like works out. So the first thing I like to do is I smudge my hands. So anything that I'm carrying, I get rid of. Bring it over my body 4 times. One of the 4 directions. My mind, so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path. Open-minded and never rigid with me. Clench my ears so I can be able to hear all of the messages that Creator sends me. Nose, danger, nature, cookies. Well, also twice as I speak. Eyes, so I can see clearly and see all of the beauty that surrounds me. Remember to see the unseen, see the gifts that. My mouth, so I speak only true, kind words that are helpful and in line with the 7 teachings, being truth, honesty, love, humility. Those are really important. Throat. You need to give voice to the shoulders. Carry all of my responsibility in a good way. My arms and my hands. I can do the good work that Creator can do. I smudge my lungs so I can breathe good, clean air. Honor the sacred breath that we all. Heart. So I can remember to be kind and compassionate, unconditional love to all those around me. Family, my friends, all my relations. I mix all of the food that stay will nurture my body, nourish it, pray for abundance in the world. Belly button, that's where our spirit is. Listen and trust the intuition and the eternal Thunderbird, which is my spirit. My womanhood, because I'm thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time, and as a 2-spirit woman, I'm very thankful to be able to carry those masculine and feminine teachings with me. Legs. Red road in a good way. Path of Aboriginal. I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her, bring her step. And then if there's anywhere else in your body you need a little extra love. Today my back is a little sore. I was hunching over talking to really little kids. So cute. My throat, it has been a little scratchy lately. Coming with little kids definitely makes it a little scratchy. And then anywhere else in your body you need. I always honor my hips. Even though they've had 4 major hip surgeries, they're still stable. They're still a big part of who I'm walking. And anyone you love and appreciation to, family, your needs healing in the world. And anyone in the world, whether. Then when you're done, hi, or miigwech, or merci, or grazie, or shie, or dankeschön, or shalom, or however you say thank you in your language. Because your language is important. It's the way that your ancestors speak. Okay, a lot going on in the world. And so I wanted to to really focus on healing and positivity and bringing together and the relationships that we share. And so I wanted to share the healing song, first of all. And so the healing song, this is called the crying song or the wailing song as well. And in it, you can really hear the tears. You can hear anguish, the way that waves wash over you. But it's really about acknowledging your tears, honoring your tears as they come. That is part of us. That's how we heal. That's how we connect with each other. I think sometimes in our society we're seen, tears or our emotions are seen as a weakness, but they're not. They're actually our greatest strength. That's what of us. That's what makes us invested in each other, so that we can build strong community, strong family, strong relationships. So this is the healing song. Grab my drum. Now this song used to be a ceremonial song, but there's been a few elders that have said, now's the time to a lot of little notes from little kids in there. But now is the time where we need to come together for healing, first and foremost. And so that might be emotional healing, spiritual healing, physical healing, or mental healing. But we all need to support each other in our community. Not an all or nothing, all on the same planet together. So we have to take care of Mother Earth as she takes care. And we need to honor the healing. All need to go through, but also healing needs to start, so that you represent. This is the Cree healing song. Awesome. I wanted to share. This is creator song. I share it with the creation story. They're the they're different. Okay, I've been kind of working on. So there's aspects of the story that have gone missing time. So I've been praying to the different spirits of the animals within the story to they're part of this. Some of them. And so it's kind of a beautiful way to piece together missing. So I'm looking for some of that story. Okay, but this song is really about honoring all of creation, honoring the sacred breath that we all share, as the plants do, as the animals do. The two-leggeds, which is us, we all breathe together. Even the swimming people, they breathe as well. This is what gills are for. It's for pulling that sacred breath. And so this is really about honoring all life, on that sacredness of birth and life, death, which is and it's actually just for being present and being here. This is the creator song. Oh, how this song came to me. This song, my night son had gifted after I sung with her, and she's, yeah, I just think I should. So she sang it, and I knew it. It was so strange. It was just, I knew it. I felt it in my blood. I felt it in my body, and I learned it within like a moment. And I brought it to my great aunt to drum and sing for her because I loved that because she connect. So as I was drumming and singing this beautiful song to her, she started singing with me. And I said, Auntie, how do you know this song? How do you know this song? This is their family song. I brought it home. So be able to share with that. Everything that's meant. Awesome. Hi. So, yeah, the song or the story that I'd like to share with you that I'm working on. So I knew a little bit of the story, and I had shared the story a couple times before, but not all of it. And so this story is called Mr. Masqua, also known as the Great Bear. And so this is a star story. And it takes place a long time ago when we were first around and the animals spoke to us and the animals had counsel with us. And there were the great bear that was roaming the plains. And for the most part, the bears were very respectful of the land. They understood the rules. They understood the teachings of the land. They never took what they needed, no, more than what they needed, because they were always in line with those teachings of sustainable and honorable harvest. And then there was just one bear, and he was larger than all of the other bears, and he was just causing a lot of problems. Now he was, well, let's face it, he was a bully. And so he was always threatening all of the other animals, always taking food from the other bears. And then eventually he started to get quite large, and his hunger just started to exceed any sort of reverence he had for the earth. And so he just started taking whatever he needed. And with so much disrespect, he started ripping entire trees out of the ground to eat their roots, thinking that he deserved the roots more than any other animal, and that the tree, that life was his to take. He started not only taking the lives of plants, but then he started taking the lives of animals, and not even using all of the pieces of the animals like he'd taught. And all of the bears knew you eat everything, or you leave it for the other animals need. But he was just carving this path through tons and tons of different animals. And then eventually his hunger just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger until he started chasing after the other bears. And he started eating the other bears as well. And so the bears were starting to get devastated. But then he didn't stop at the other bears. He ended up going after the two-leggeds. And all of the animals knew that there was an unwritten law with Creator, and with Sakajak that said, no animal is supposed to interfere. We could teach, but they couldn't interfere with the two-leggeds. They could harm the two-leggeds, except in self-defense. And so all of the animals decided they needed a council. And they even invited some of the to try and figure out what they were going to do with this ravenous bear that was just destroying everything in Musqua. And then the council basically decided that 7 of the best trackers and hunters had to work together to be able to chase this bear away and to deal with him. And so all of the animals were like, well, who is the fastest? Because he had become so large and so ravenous and so fast that not many of the other animals could get even close to him without being in danger. But the birds, who were the most nimble and the quickest and also the best trackers because they could fly high above to see where Mr. Musqua had gone, they decided to put together their best warriors, which were 7 birds. So there was the robin at the time, who was completely gray, the cardinal at the time, who was white, stark white, with just that beautiful black marking on him. The chickadee, who would always call out to let everyone know and warn everyone what was going on. Then there was also the blue jay, and the blue jay always knew what was happening and what was going on in the forest. And it's always really good to be able to mimic other animals and other voices, to be able to warn and talk to everyone in the language that they need to hear. Anyway, there's a few other birds. There's 3 other birds. So, like I said, I've been praying to them. They're coming. So all of the birds decided, okay, they had to chase this big bear. So they made this plan, and they waited until the 11th moon of the year when things started to get a little colder and the leaves started to shake and started to brown. And so they decided, okay, now was time to come and get Mr. Musqua. But the raven, who was a little greedy at the time and loved the fact that he could chase around Mr. Musqua, follow him, and then whatever scraps or leftovers Mr. Musqua had left behind, he could actually just indulge in those scraps. So he said, well, I'm going to warn Mr. Musqua that this gaggle of birds are coming to get him, to chase him. And so before those other birds could reach him, before they could track him, before they could surprise him, Mr. Musqua started to run faster and faster. And so the birds had to fly faster and faster. They had to do something to slow him down. And they weren't quite sure what they were going to do. And so the robin decided, okay, well, let's try and wound the bear. And so the robin was dipping and diving and trying to wound the bear, and ended up just barely nicking it across the chest and right above its heart. And when Mr. Musqua threw the raven, his blood splattered across, or not the raven, sorry, the robin's chest, his blood splattered across her chest as well. So this is now why that robin has a red breast. She tried and failed and tried and failed, and she needed help. And so the cardinal said, I will help, and dove straight into Mr. Musqua's chest and deep into his heart until finally bursting forth. And when he did, all of his plumage were covered in Mr. Musqua's blood. And Mr. Musqua screamed in pain and called the thunders and started to shake all of the blood. And as he did, all of the broadleaf plants were just coated in it. And so this is now why in the 11th moon, all of our plants start to change color, because that's that blood of Mr. Musqua falling from the heavens. And so Mr. Musqua knew he had to get away from these birds. And so first the robin followed suit and chased him. The chase was getting faster and faster and faster. And then the other 7 birds, or the other 6 birds, started chasing him as well. And Mr. Musqua knew the only way he would escape them was to fly high into the sky. And so Mr. Musqua, being as large as he was, the being that he was, started to ascend into the sky. As he did, he became stars. And those 7 birds chased him up the sky, holding him hard in the sky, making sure that he would never escape again. The first bird, the robin, and then the last bird of the series, the cardinal, held him in place for all of the season. The cardinal is the last to disappear in the winter, which is why it holds it in the sky the longest. And then the robin is the first to return in the spring, just to warn that bear never to come down to the earth for what has happened to him before. And now the gifts that those animals have within their eggs, the robin has the sky reflected in its eggs. This is why it's sky blue, to honor the sky. And then the cardinal has those brown spots to remind him of how the earth was before in the winter. Well, in like the fall, when there wasn't that beautiful, bright transition color, but it still has that connection to the earth with the speckle. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but it's happening. And so Mr. Muska still watches over us, and he warns all of the other bears never to get out of hand, because nobody wants to become a star. So that is the story of Mr. Muskwa. I'm going to share the bear song. And so the bear is really amazing because not only does it carry those teachings of Mr. Muskwa, but it also teaches us what to eat and when to eat it. It knows when to harvest certain medicines. It knows when to eat certain berries. It knows when to eat certain animals or when not to eat certain animals. And so we always watch the bear because it has so much wisdom. And it was unfortunate that Mr. Muskwa lost its way. So this is the bear song. Slide up. So another song that's been in my head has been the Raven Song. And I'm not going to share the story today, I'm just going to share the song, and just like a brief description of what happens in the song. And so the song is really about the raven discovering humility, discovering that he wasn't better than anybody else, and really honoring all of the gifts that are around us, and, you know, becoming the trickster himself as he discovered humility. So into the 3rd verse, there's a boo, because in the story, Raven gets burned by the sun and falls out of the sky. And so then he learns his lesson. Get a little higher with the last verse. So this is the Raven Song. It's a great little song. Came to me through one of my cousins, actually. So I heard it online. It's like, I know this song. And then I like did a whole bunch of work to reach out to the person who had posted it, and then they connected me with the person who carried it. And when we were having a conversation, I was like, song that just resonates with me. So can you please tell the story of it? He was like, well, where are you from? I was like, well, I'm Cree. He's like, yeah, but where? I was like, well, Big Lake. And he's like, oh, so you're my cousin, so that makes sense because it's one of those songs that's been shared in our families. And I was like, oh, and he's like, but it's a Cherokee song, so it's Cherokee as well as Cree. And it was just really interesting how that happens. So sometimes you just need to reach out and find out the story of those songs, know how it's going to deeply connect to you. And so, yeah, this is the Raven song. Think on that one for a minute. awesome. So you might notice I actually colored my hair again. So I walked into a daycare yesterday that I've taught at before, and they were like, "Oh, your hair's not pink anymore." I'm like, "It is. It was just on the ends." So I was like, that was the motivation I needed to recolor my hair. And so then I'll not color it again for another year. But it's really about, honoring who you are. And this is my spirit. Whenever I have this color, it's part of me. It just has always been that light, and it's always made me happy, and it's been that self-expression to be able to really share who I am, but also how to disrupt preconceived notions. There's been many a times when I walked into a school, even though I have like a lot of cultural knowledge, they see my hair and they're like, there was even a teacher who, after I had taught her class, she came up to me afterwards and she cried and she apologized. She said, "When I saw you walk in with hair, I just assumed you were young. I assumed you didn't know anything that you didn't have that knowledge, and you just changed my mind." Shared, and the way that you listen. So thank you. And I think that's really important. It's like that. If we're going to judge someone just on the outside appearance without taking the time to get to their heart and their spirit, then we need to really reassess the way that we look at that, projecting ourselves. So it's really just about being open and accepting and welcoming in all of our people, all people, all nations. You never know who's going to be. And so, on that note, I think I'm going to share. I'm going to share the thank you song because I'm just like, yeah, look which. Oh no, I'm not going to share the thank you song because then okay, it's stuck in my head now. Here it comes. So this is the thank you song. So it's saying Miigwech. It's saying thank you to my ancestors, grandmothers, grandfathers, to all of our ancestors that brought us together. The gifts that we have within us and all. It's just a really beautiful thank you song. And it's really catchy. It's an earworm. Once I sing it, I have a really hard time remembering any other song. So this is the thank you song. Miigwech nagal mahona suk, Miigwech nagal manukama suk, Miigwech nagal hey hey nut nut, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Miigwech nagal mahona suk, Miigwech nagal manukama suk, Miigwech nagal hey hey nut nut, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Miigwech nagal mahona suk, Miigwech nagal manukama suk, Miigwech nagal hey hey nuk nuk, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Miigwech nagal mahona suk, Miigwech nagal manukama suk, Miigwech nagal hey hey nut nut, oh hey oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey, oh hey oh hey oh hey. I need to start treating my throat better between eating chips and then singing and inhaling them and singing very loudly over little children. It has been a stretch for my voice this week. So this next song, I'm trying to see which song wants to be sung. There's like a whole bunch that are piling on it. The Ancestor Songs. So this is a song that came through me when I was sitting in the spring and then the summer and again in the fall in the Weasel Head. And then I was the kind of come to fruition. But in it, I heard the birds. Every time I would go out on the land, I would just listen what they had to share with me. And all of the birds, so much to say. They always have so much to say. But it was all just generosity, kindness, guidance, and beauty about really appreciating the voices of our ancestors, the voices that surround all our relations. It's not just people. It is those animals. It's those plants. It's recognizing the voices in our bears, crawlers, and our swimmers, and all things. Because everything has a voice if we take to listen. So that's truly what the song on. Those voices. Spend the time learning from. So this is we call it the ancestral. I call it the ancestral bird song, or the blue jay song. Who was like, I'm unique. Awesome. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. So thanks, Debs. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Paul. And so I'm getting pretty close to the end here, so I'm going to share 2 more songs. Oh, I just realized I haven't practiced one of my songs. Practice that, and I'm going to share it next. But I'd like to share the Thunderbird. The weather's changing. I was just seeing that beautiful arch kind of leave us today, and seeing that fog roll in was reminded of just the power of weather and the strength it brings with it, but also the teachings it brings with it. That reminder to breathe, that reminder sometimes we need to come inside and we need to slow down, and we need to really honor our bodies, we need to honor our time, we need to honor each other, and we need to honor our path. So Thunderbird is really about fate or destiny, that thing that pushes us forward. It teaches us, take ourselves too seriously on our path, because you can't force things to happen. You just have to hope that they will, but even if they don't, you have to be able to adapt. And if you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, eventually the bird's going to get fed up with you and kick you in the butt and put you on the right path. Just like if you keep veering off the path, it's not going to be so gentle with keep putting you back on your path. And it teaches us to really listen to our intuition. If things are going really, really badly, stop letting yourself suffer. Maybe look at the situation a little differently and switch gears, because that's exactly what the Thunderbird wants us. Just pile stuff on so that we're like, oh, okay, this is not the right path. Okay, let's go this way instead. And that's exactly what had happened to me with my hip surgery. It put me on the path that I needed to be on now. Being hit by a truck, yeah, it sucked. It was really traumatic. And I've had 4 major hip surgeries because of it, but it put me exactly where I needed to be. It put me on the path that I'm on. I'm so thankful and humbled to be here. I mean, I'm not thankful to have been hit by a truck. I wish it was a little bit more of a subtle push in the right direction from the Thunderbird, but it did put me on the path where I'm working really diligently for my community, and I'm sharing traditional culture and teachings and all of these beautiful things, and I'm so thankful for the path that I'm on, where it's led me. So this is the Thunderbird Song, which is an Anishinaabe song, and I'd heard it from a couple different elders, actually. I remember hearing it growing up, but then it just kind of course, when you don't hear those songs for a really long time, you just don't really have it. And then when I was sitting where I was like, oh, I know this one. So yeah, this is the Thunderbird Song. Share 2 more. So this song just popped in my head. I was thinking about some beautiful Blackfoot women that I absolutely love. This song I'm going to dedicate my friend Sandra. I'm really, really thankful and humbled that she's alive, and my friend Stephanie. Very, very thankful as well. And so this is Kitsikakamin, which they both taught me in their own way, which I'm so thankful for. And this can be found online by Olivia Tailfeathers. And she is, she's from Mexico, Guyanai. But it's just a beautiful song to be able to share with little ones and everyone else. It means Kitsikakamin, which means I love you. And I sing it to everyone. I sing it to Mother Earth, to where I live right now, which is Molkinstis, and then to everyone again. Kitsikakamin, everyone, Kitsikakamin, everyone, Kitsikakamin, everyone, Kitsikakamin, Kitty got coming. Kitty got coming. Nah, kitty got coming. Nah, kitty got coming. Nah, kitty got coming. Kitty got coming, walking sis. Kitty got coming. Way yo, way yo, way yo. Kitty got coming, kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Kitty got coming. Kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Everyone, kitty got coming. Kitty got coming. And then I just want to sing a traveling song so everybody has a beautiful week ahead. So this traveling song traveled and ended up making its way back, and I'm so thankful that it did. Because every time I sing it, I feel so thankful for my elder Sharon. Before she passed, she shared so many beautiful teachings. She was just an inspiration, and every time I start to doubt myself, I really hear her voice and feel her spirit pushing me, and so I'm really thankful for her. And this song came back to me through my friend Ashley. I'm so thankful that they crossed my path as well, because I think whenever you're on the right path, you just meet amazing or sometimes you cycle back to some really incredible people too. In the song, really honor that path that brings us exactly where we need to be, that path that brings people to us, and the journey that we take together in our life. So this is a traveling song. May everyone have a good week ahead. May everyone travel safely, and may your journey be gentle. Traveling. Awesome. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for another fabulous Tuesday. I will be back again next week. And I'm just always really grateful and thankful. So feel free to share because these teachings are open to anyone. When it comes to smudging, it's really about honoring yourself through smudge. And some people feel really weird, like, oh, I'm not Indigenous. Am I allowed to smudge? If you're gifted the medicines, if you're gifted a bowl, and if you're gifted those teachings and you sit with someone and you actually learn, then yes, absolutely. Just as long as you're not taking those teachings and being like, these are mine, I'm going to share them, I'm going to make money off them, because that's appropriation, and that's not okay. So it's just about taking what you need, but also honoring the earth and honoring that these teachings have been here for time immemorial, and so it's a gift to be able to share them. A lot of people ask me about my smudge bowl. This is my public smudge bowl, so I can smudge with anybody at any time with this particular smudge bowl. I have other smudge bowls. I have my personal smudge bowl, which is just for me, and I have my ceremony smudge bowl, which is when I'm carrying ceremony. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope everyone has a beautiful week. I will see you next week. Yeah, Magwitch again. Hi, hi, Marcy.